Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dragon Talk. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
If you don't finish the tweet before we go on, did the tweet really happen?
It didn't really happen. No, it's true. It hasn't actually
I was
occurred.
Like, there was so much pressure.
I've gotten to be so good at just being like, I can talk for a little bit and then let everybody else talk, and then I'll finish typing. That's how it works.
No, you can't do that.
I can't?
No.
Dang it. That's why I have my whole laptop here. So that people...
But you're breaking one of the cardinal rules of hosting is you can't tweet and type and host at the same time.
It's very difficult.
Break all those rules.
One of those things can happen.
Let Shelly intro it if you need to finish your tweet.
You never lets
no
me
rules,
do that.
just right.
See, the thing is, I've done this countless times without you calling it out, and now it's a thing.
Oh,
now
really?
you didn't think about it. I'm just helping you up your game, Greg.
Well, we're joined, of course, by these two amazing folks who are going to be giving me crap for the rest of the interview, and I appreciate that. We've got Caleb Cleveland, who is the writer and creator of all of this, and another guy.
Oh.
I'm the illustrator.
Some other dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The guy without the beard?
That other guy.
Yeah, since you took his beard.
I accept that harsh burn mostly because
I'm the one that made fun of you. Ivan was just caught in the crosshairs.
That's all right.
I'm sorry, Ivan.
It's fine. No, it's all good.
Ivan Van Norman, everyone. The writer of these fine books.
It's true.
Ivan Van Norman, who will have a bladed sheath in the night upon his next visit.
Many stabs and cuts.
Seriously.
Thank you. Thanks for
Swords have been
us on
drawn.
board.
Yes,
we're excited to. I envisioned at one point that the success of this would happen when we got to talk about it on Dragon Talk. It was only a reality.
Your lives are about to
it was
change.
On Dragon Talk. So.
It's true. I hope you're ready. For
ready.
The fame.
It's basically Dragon Talk then Today Show, I believe, is the progression that I've seen.
I don't know.
Most.
In the last rankings that I saw, we were actually ahead of the Today Show.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that with just an Extra Life
yeah, I think
donations?
there's like some Extra
I think
Life.
that's the only meter that we're beating them right now. But you guys are, of course, the minds behind the ABCs of D&D and the 123's of D&D. Two amazing books that I've been reading to my kids for like the last few weeks. And I'm sure you guys have been reading them to your kids as well.
How are they liking it so far, Greg? Are they liking it?
They dig it, and it's the artwork as well as the rhymes that are. I know I'm not going to burn. Ivan twice in a row. I saw his like look of trepidation. He was like, "Ooh,
no,
is it coming?"
No. I was grabbing my books just to make sure I have them in front of me as well. No, this book is all the charm. Distilled into that of Caleb, who literally the reason this all came about is because Caleb, one, he is I'm going to talk about you, Caleb. Okay, you tell me if anything's wrong. All right,
I'll just take my headphones off.
So Caleb not only teaches at like the Laguna College of Art and Design down here in Southern California, but which I didn't know when I first started talking to him, by the way. But I only knew about him because he did this amazing Inktober sketch like 3 years ago.
That's about right. 2015.
2015.
I did an ABCs of Dungeons and Dragons creatures, one every day for the month of October. A lot of artists do it. And Ivan sort of saw that, and he'd been thinking of something like that himself, and seeing it sort of gelled the approach for his own project. And he contacted me, and together we bashed our heads and created this beautiful sort of amalgam that you're holding in your hands there.
Yeah, it was a whole originally. Even Caleb was on just to be transparent, like the version of this before it became the ABCs of Dungeons and Dragons, there was an activity book that we put together. And Caleb was originally just supposed to do the activity book because I had another artist already attached to doing the original children's book. But this is the glory of how you would know that things are right, is that no matter how much, and this other artist was not like a slob either. He was very professional, very good at what he does, but we just couldn't find the right vision around it. And I only just started talking to Caleb about it. I was like, hey, can we take your Inktober sketches and can we put it into a sweet activity book? And he's like, yeah, okay, let's talk about it. And as we started putting together this activity book, I realized, no, man, Caleb's the one who has all of the details and the attention to this. So he essentially moved over to do the children's book as well.
Well,
too.
we just had a really good rapport. It was really good communication. He would ask me, this it's been we haven't hit on something that's perfect yet. Can you give me your take on this idea? And I would doodle a little sketch and say, you mean like this? And that's
Right
how
where
it
it needed to be.
We
Yeah.
went off and running.
Super. I love that. It's kind of similar to, I don't know, any kind of production-minded thing where you're like, all right, this is where I think it's going to go, and then you realize where the magic is or where the communication is going the best, and you're like, that's where we want to put the resources because that's what's working. And, it's similar to dungeon mastering any kind of game or storyline. You're like, all right, I have we were talking about this in a previous interview of like, I have all these great designs and things, but once it interacts with the players,
No plan survives first enemy contact.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's what makes it so hard as both a business choice and as a production choice. Is it was really hard for me to fire this first artist, but I knew that like Caleb was the right choice. So it was one of those lessons learned kind of a situations where you learn to take care of the vision and the vision being upheld. So and I was super excited when Liz wanted to come together and have it become something that is beautiful for D&D. So
good stuff.
And there was some really great art direction on D&D side as well from Kate and several other people who helped us sort of like finalize our vision and sort of have it gel with WotC's version of events as well.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the artwork in here is it doesn't feel like typical Dungeons and Dragons art. No. But it also doesn't feel that off either, right? It's it's got this. It's reminiscent of all of the things that you loved about it, but from a very, I don't know, just fantastical kids version of those monsters or those locations, and it just sparks people's imagination from young and old.
But we don't want to scare the kids.
I mean,
we don't want to like.
I do, but
you do, but the rest of us don't. So like, my son loves these books, and he loves to read them and look at the monsters, and he just thinks they look cool and they're awesome, and those kids look like they could be kids that he knows. Which is awesome.
That was one of the fun parts. Was literally trying to make it so that the villains and the monsters were totally approachable and relatable.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that we had the biggest challenge on, and I say we had the biggest challenge, Caleb had the hardest challenge on, is when we went through the liches. Just to try to figure out how to make it so that they are relatively perfectly spooky enough, and still have a little bit of a monster to it.
Yeah, they had to be whimsical, but at the same time recognizable for what they were. It would be in the 123's of D&D.
The bestiary.
These two little kids run into a room full of 8
liches.
Oh,
eight
yeah.
liches.
And luckily they have their dog. So
right. They're fine. It's familiar, the ranger with his animal companion, and one wizard. Everything.
And one wizard, but they're running into recognizable liches. There's a Sararak.
Mm-hmm.
We got Vecna in the back there. We've got a whole bunch of, essentially what were my take of D&D appropriate liches, and we've got an Alhoon. But the idea is. The kids would appreciate it. They would still be, a little spooky, but at the same time, they'd be kind of Easter eggs for the older readers who would be like, "Wait a minute, I think I lost a character to that guy."
Right. I mean, anyone who's been around long enough knows that Vecna and his one eye is like that's about what you expect when you're encountering 20th level, wizard battles. Battles.
There is, but that's not. I mean, I feel like this artwork and the text as well. But the artwork has a lot of these Easter eggs, as you mentioned, in a way that aren't. Like there's the red box up in the corner.
That's my favorite page.
Yeah,
I love this page that their shelf is filled with all the core rule books. So they have the dungeon board game, the red box. The pictures on the wall.
So nice of you to say.
I think. Caleb? Do you want to tell them the story about Twinkle and Icing Death?
Oh, that one is hilarious.
Well, I wanted to use. I wanted to hide a couple fun things in there. So So yeah, so there's a poster on the back of the little girl's bedroom door for a make-believe band called Twinkle and Icing Death,
Yes.
which are, of course, the famous swords owned by Drizzt Do'Urden. Am I saying his name?
No.
correct?
Drizzt Do'Urden.
No, you're not saying.
No.
Yeah, Drizzt
I
Do'Urden.
apologize to
Drizzt Do'Urden.
any
It's all good.
drowned-
I mean,
drowned-
you've always, it's the only reason we get it, or at least I have heard it, is because I do the audiobooks versus the, readables.
You are not alone. Drizzt, I have heard many
Oh,
a
yeah.
time.
It's not. It's
I
not.
Even
think-
people who like announce it like an audible, they do it wrong as well too, without getting into. The only people who legitimately are doing it right are the actual readers of the book.
And Bob.
And Bob. Yeah.
And Bob. Yeah,
Right.
So,
Bad.
But yeah, no, his two famous swords.
Right.
Glenn
But I imagined it as like this pop metal band,
Yeah.
sort of like Heart.
And now I
Somebody-
can't not imagine it as that.
Right, exactly. Just having, two female lead vocalists just going, oh, and I imagine. So that's my.
it's got to have the Companions of the Hall. It's basically the Companions of the Hall
That's it.
as the original lineup.
I dig
So,
that. Yeah.
wow.
There's also Raceland was here, written somewhere in
Oh, yeah.
one of these, and I was like, oh, that's cool
I'm
because
not gonna say
I
what's on it.
didn't see any
Oh,
other.
Raceland was here. Yeah, that's right. That's in the seals, the
Oh,
7
geez.
seals.
Stop that. There's actually another. It got a little eaten up by the spine, unfortunately. But on that page, there's another rune. It's actually the rune of Candlekeep,
Oh, cool.
which is another sort of Forgotten Realms Easter egg that you can see. But unfortunately, it got a little swallowed up. But there's a bunch of really fun, little mementos in there that just sort of remind us that essentially the whole idea behind this is that it's about playing pretend, and it's totally about something that you could share with children and that children would be able to appreciate just as well as adults.
Those are the best ones. Is when you can literally read it over and over again, and you don't get too bored of it either. Because one, it feels good coming off of the tongue, or just because you find something new every bit. And that was the ABCs originally was so much fun because you would find something new every single time you read it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just kind of it's crazy. It's crazy that it's been so long since we first took a stab at this thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that is the selling point that I keep telling people when I talk about these books is that they're, as a father of young children, you read a lot of books that you don't want to read them 40 times.
Yep.
You don't even want to read them twice.
No.
You read them once and you're like, okay, I got
That was
this.
fine.
That was
Yeah.
fine.
Yep.
There's not any meter. There's no poetry to it whatsoever. But these are so fun to read. Not only for the great artwork, but because they're, the rhyme just makes sense and it feels right, and it's describing
clever.
something that I'm really passionate about too. So that also helps. So kudos to you, Ivan. Did you?
no, I appreciate it. I got a lot of honestly, it was really humbling to be with the Wizards editorial team as well too, because they gave me a lot of great advice. Michael Carter basically took some time to kind of show me that that writing simply is much harder than writing long, elaborate, flowery texts. Like being able to get two pieces, and we made some adjustments in this originally that I thought were really what's the word I'm looking for? When you're right, but almost like it's woke. They're very woke. Use the mom term. See how dad I am right now? I had to find that hip term.
Oh
What's
my
up?
God.
This book is on fleek.
Yeah, totally.
You are
But
Stephen Jackson.
the big one is that Ellis for Lost originally was supposed to be because Ellis for Lost, which is sometimes just as fun.
Oh yeah.
And he pointed out, and it was, I didn't even think about this, but it makes so much sense. Like, you don't want to encourage letting kids get lost.
No.
Getting lost is super fun, so it was in a super easy adjustment. It's just Ellis for Lost, so it's time to head for home.
Right.
It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but even these tiny little things, which they may not make a big deal when
Right.
you read it the first time, or read it to a kid the first time, because you might be like, oh, whatever. Sometimes it is lost to get fun. Sometimes it is fun to get lost. But at the same time, it's with constant repetition, and the fact that when that those first few years of development, and even when they start getting into the early reading stages, is like those things make huge impressions on kids.
Yeah.
Which is why, I mean, that's why I love the Dr. Seuss books, because they almost always reinforce, values and things that, you don't even realize that they are, but it feels right. It's all right there.
Yeah, and you certainly don't remember it. You don't remember reading Dr. Seuss when you were 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But you do know that those principles were hammered at you at an early age, and they're reinforced by your parents.
And that cats are evil.
And that cats are evil. Right?
They cause.
The cats are terrifying. Martin Short is also evil. I don't know if you knew this, but like Martin Short voices
the cat.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, for the kids show that's
really
out there.
Makes sense.
But that's also another reason why I think the editors made you take away, W is for whiskey, which makes all of your memories go away.
I feel like it's kind of a loss.
W is for whiskey.
As long as you hide your pain.
Just push it down as far as it'll go.
Yeah.
W for whiskey, your dad's escape from you.
I mean, sometimes I think we coddle kids too much, but I mean, I guess it's okay.
But it's all good. So they're all. I mean, it was just kind of fun to be able to take it to its next stage, and know that since this book is going out to a very wide audience when it comes to both kids and their parents, it's like knowing that I feel really good knowing that anyone who's going to be reading it and looking into it, like I don't have that kind of like, oh God, is it going to ruin kids' lives? Like, no, I'm super confident and happy that anyone who takes time to read the books to their kids should find a certain amount of joy and whimsy and discovery and imagination.
Or anybody who just wants to read them for themselves, just for the exact same reason.
I like reading them.
Yep.
I've all of those adjectives that you just said. I feel when I read these books. I love them.
So, most people listening and or watching may know Ivan. He was the dungeon master for our Off the Table things at the Stream of Many Eyes and all the other fun stuff you do.
And now an official D&D licensee.
But Caleb, you might be, new to so you obviously have a lot of D&D lore at the tips of your mustache, ready to be put into your work. So yeah, how
it's crackling with lore.
Exactly, and lightning also.
Yes.
So yeah, when did you start playing Dungeons and Dragons? What was your origin story?
Oh gosh, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons really when I was in the latter years of high school. My stepdad really wanted a game to play with my brothers and I, and something that would be cooperative so that we wouldn't bicker. And he taught us how to get together and how to team up, and that's exactly what Dungeons and Dragons was all about. But at the same time, to exercise our imaginations, to create context in our minds, something imaginative. And D&D was the first way that we kind of explored that idea. Of course, he was a ridiculous cheat. So
your stepdad?
Yeah, exactly. No, he's like, let me roll that again. Let me roll that one more time. So he allowed us to, he punished us gravely in game with just, he never TPK'd us or TK, what is it? Total party kill.
You were right.
TPK. Party kill. Yeah.
But we were close sometimes. And it was basically through his own, through his own, mad Machiavellian machinations that any of our characters survived. But it was really, really wonderful. The whole experience never really left me, even though it's been 20 years now, and now I get to play games like that with my kids, and but I've never really left that sense of wonder. Like what Ivan was saying before. Thinking simply is not easy. But you kind of have to in order to play this game, which could be quite complicated, and enjoy it the way that you're meant to, which is kind of with the eyes of a kid.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
there's a certain point when you have to sort of surrender to the game, and sort of let your imagination do most of the heavy lifting. And I've been very lucky. I've always had that ability, and I'm trying to pass it on to people that I play with, and especially, and the younger the better. So
Yeah. Yeah. How old are your children?
I've got two little girls, 7 and 9.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 7 is Eleanor. The 9-year-old is Lura, and they are huge nerds. I'm happy to say.
Nice.
They're quite proud of that their dad has a fun D&D book. They're I think the younger one is a little. She's a little over it, I think. Of Daddy talking about goblins quite so much. But where I see it now more than ever is in the school that I teach.
Yeah.
I teach at an art school, Laguna College of Art and Design in Laguna Beach, California. Good job if you can get it. And
these kids are amazing, by the way. Shelley and Greg, like all of the
very good students
in his classes are phenomenal. We have used several of them for projects in the future, but they're all phenomenal, and it's
great
because Caleb honestly can replicate any style you give him to. Like, he is a jack of all trades when it comes to stuff. He's done work for like Chaosium. He did a bunch of the Call of Cthulhu. He did a bunch of pieces that are featured in the Call of Cthulhu books. Like, we're talking like his range is huge, and these kids are learning from him. So
thank you very much, Ivan. I'm doing my best to make as many nerds as possible.
Nice. Us too. Also, I think we're aligned in that endeavor.
In that goal.
Yeah.
I'll just finish up here by just saying that they use D&D for a variety of different storytelling purposes. To sort of sort out their own characters. Even if they're playing a character as ridiculous as like an intelligent umbrella, or something like that in their own campaigns, they use it as a tool, and to explore their own imaginations. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I feel like role playing is going through this renaissance right now. It's because it's reaching, because of the work that you guys are doing, and because there are so many fun real play avenues for audiences to explore. There are funny podcasts and funny Let's Play Twitch streams, and serious ones and horror ones. There's just it's just a bounty.
Stories. We want to tell stories now, and
it's all imaginative. It's just this really, really wonderful place for people to explore their stories. My students are a great example of that.
Yeah, they're the new generation of it, because everyone's dying for unscripted content right now. They want to all make up their own stories, or they all want to be part of a story that's happening right now. It's more honest and sincere than it is. Sometimes it's more honest and sincere, but most of the time it's fun to watch people make these choices as they are happening right now.
Yeah. And live with the consequences.
Those are my favorite. Yeah.
Well, that sense of wonder and storytelling is rife throughout all of these books. So I appreciate that your stepdad brought you into the fold all those years ago, because I can almost, now knowing that, I'm like, oh, those are some of those player characters that were involved in that campaign are kind of dramatized in these pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. My girls, that even just the background stuff, like that. In the 123's book, I think there's the 5 towers image. I love all 5 of those towers, by the way. I have like story hooks for all of them in my head as to what those all entail. And when listeners, when you get the book and you're able to kind of see this image, you'll know a little more of what I'm talking about. But it sparked the imagination of my 7 and 5. So, same distance as yours, but, a couple of years behind.
Nice.
But my youngest, my 5-year-old, even this morning we were looking at the book, and she said, I think 3 of those towers are good and 2 of them are bad. And I thought she was making a value judgment. Like, those are 3 good towers and those are 5, I don't like those ones as much. But and as we were talking through it more, it was actually like good versus evil was in her head. The alignment chart was in her head, and not just like, oh, I like this and I don't like that. And I'm like, oh my God, you're already thinking like a D&D player.
Yeah. Well, she's thinking.
Of course she is.
We are. We kind of forget these things. We have to be retrained to do it. But yeah, looking at them, you can definitely see just by the shape and the color and the contrast that there are some of them that are a little bit more severe than others.
Yeah.
So I feel like kudos to your daughter for having a discerning eye.
And I don't know if you've noticed this either, but in the 123's as well, too, another interesting choice that was made that you dives deeper as you get into it. On 1 through 4, like on book, pages 1 through 4, it kind of transitions from the table into the fantasy land. Like on 1, it's just you see the table,
right,
and then you go into 2, you see that there are like dice that are part of the landscape. As you're diving into the fantasy world of like what the dungeon master's explaining, and it's not even until you get to like 4, or I'm sorry, to the towers in 5, that like you've lost all of the dice element of like the table, and now you're fully into the world. And even that's like a fun little ramp up to be like, hey, you can't go from 0 to 60. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of a deep dive, and you slowly transition into your world of imagination.
I love that fun transition was something that we talked a little bit about, Ivan and I. It was a lot of fun.
Subtlety.
Yep.
Subtle things, which
the clouds are shaped like dice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and I love even just the opening image of that book as well, because I played D&D with my kids, but they've also seen it set up for when I'm going to play with other people. And so they immediately, like, even just, having the screen and the dungeon masters and all the things
grid
kind of set up in a way. They're like, oh, I know they're playing D&D in this just from the visual acuity. And you don't see that represented in a children's book very often.
No. And I actually really love this wallpaper. Like, I really love it.
Can we order that wallpaper from you guys?
Where can I get this pattern? I love it.
You go to the WotC website.
Just print this page out a lot.
It's $500
It's
a foot.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
It's very nice.
No, I just went online and tried to imagine, I just put a bunch of really grimy sort of like early 80s colors together.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. It's something that the Stranger Things kids might have in their room.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know that when I was little, we had in my bathroom on that was next to my room, I put my foot down that I would not have them change the velvet backsplash of my bathroom's wall. Nice. And it was the ugliest thing on the planet, but I refused to have my mother change it because I wanted to keep it so bad.
The velvet,
the red velvet bathroom. So
was it actually velvet? Like you could feel
it? No,
it
it was. You rubbed your hand on it, and it was velvet. I don't know how it survived in the bathroom, but it did.
Yeah. And as a backsplash? That's crazy.
As a backsplash, right?
Yeah, that seems nuts. I remember we had a wallpaper in the dining room that was like green palms, and the leaves were like that velvet material. And I can still. You just brought me right back there.
Right back.
Right back in
velvet
there.
Palms.
You know what's funny too? I mean, and it's kind of indicative of the artwork in this book, but I have a very strong image of playing underneath my aunt's table when I was in Pennsylvania in Allentown, where they're filling out forms and standing in line. But she had this wall, as would happen in 80s and 70s things, that was an image. The entire wall was wallpapered with one big image, and it was of like a jungle scene. Like it was very much like big palm fronds and
like
thing was
photos playing in the background.
And I was always playing under the table in that room, imagining that I was in a jungle and doing things, and I didn't even think about it until this conversation. But that's exactly what these images kind of also bring back, is that idea of like, oh, here's what's in our world and in our life, but how can we make it turn a little bit more fantastical? How can we use our imaginations?
Well, we're in that
Maurice Sendak with the wild things, where the wild things are.
Yeah, very much a Maurice Sendak. Yes.
Without getting too deep into it, but that's kind of Caleb and I, what our focus is now, is to try to explore more of the like, how can we make real life feel just as fantastic and delightful as when we sit down and play D&D, and keep trying to find entertaining ways to engage young players with that kind of attitude,
Exactly.
It's working.
Thank you.
It's working.
We're
more
trying.
and more.
So Ivan, what does your little mini me think of the books? Does he get that these are Daddy's books?
So Phoenix is 3, which he's more interested in Hush Now Banshee, which is also an amazing book, by the way. He loves Hush Now Banshee. I let him pick his books, and I've prominently been putting them on display. And I don't think he's picked them yet since we've gotten them. But
oh man, everybody's a critic.
Propping him up every night before bed.
But I do. I'm like, Phoenix, here's all the books. Do you want to grab it? And he always grabs everything but my books.
And you're like, by the way, who is this very handsome
Look
author?
At this little picture
but
on
I will
the
say,
back.
he does enjoy it. So when we were reading it, we have read it. So I'm making a joke, but I'm not making that bad of a joke. Well, I think his favorite thing is that in the back of the ABCs,
Yes.
there's this one doodle that Caleb drew of us.
Fortunate doodle.
I love this doodle. It's my favorite doodle.
Well,
Immortalized
your
forever.
hair is magnificent. There.
So Phoenix, whenever we get to it, and then he goes, "Daddy, Caleb," you know. So he does know that this is us in the back, which is fun. But we have to get through it a little more. I still think he's a little young. He's understanding concepts and getting into it more. But I think that's a little bit of the imposter syndrome in me, where it's kind of like, well, if he wants to read it, he'll ask for it, when I should just be like shoving his face in it. So, like a good parent does.
You know what you should do? You say, you're like this, and then he comes in the room and go, oh. No, you can't have.
Oh, Shelley, no.
No, sorry. Pick a different book. Phoenix.
No,
you can't.
He actually has another book called The Book with No Pictures in It, which
that's
that tactic, exact tactic.
Yep.
But
they're so easy to manipulate at this age.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're not my mom.
Well, when they're 3, it's like the term three-nager, right?
Yes.
He may as well be a teenager with his attitude.
Yeah, maybe it won't work on him. It works on my very impressionable 5-year-old. Every day when he leaves for school, I go, "Don't you dare learn anything today.
Don't you do it.
Better
Don't
not learn a thing."
Teachers.
And the first thing he does when he comes home from school is he tells me all the things he learned, because they just want to defy you. And then I get really angry.
That's totally gonna backfire one day.
Do you think so?
I'm going to tell my 5-year-old not to play D&D, and they're going to come back to me at the end of the day and explain THACO.
Yeah. Somebody needs to be able to. If a kid can't explain it to you.
I signed up for lacrosse lessons today.
No. I'm not saying I'm going to do this thing when he's like 13. I'm going to be like, "Don't you dare smoke cigarettes." And then he's actually going to do it. I'll stop eventually.
Right.
Whatever, Tito.
We'll talk to you in 8 years.
When my kid's smoking and drinking and dumb.
Well, I mean, we're talking about all the positive reinforcement that these books do.
And Shelley's here against the grain.
I know, right? She's like,
no. He
loves these books.
I like her plan of attack. I feel like, Shelley, you got it. Can you read this?
Well, my kid reads these books and he loves them. So
I'm just going to be like, kids, don't wipe your butts. It's stupid. No one wipes their butts. I'm an adult. I never wipe my butt. You'll be fine.
But you're not fine. And we all know that.
It's true, though.
It's true.
But I'll give you a full report.
Believe me.
I promise to you, I will read them to him tonight. I will suck up my pride, and I will put these books in front of him.
He's like the perfect play tester too.
Yeah.
Well, he was originally, like, when we were looking at the stuff, when we were looking at these arts, when we were looking at all the arts, I was showing it to him as well too, and getting into it, and I pointed things out to him, and he it's so funny the things that he knows. Phoenix, he goes to like regular kids places that just have regular blocks and stuff, and he now goes to them and he goes, "Daddy, dice."
Oh, it's happening.
So he now knows that like square blocks are not blocks, they are dice. These are things that they need to exist. So
that's pretty cool.
And yeah, we played Magic just a couple of days ago, and he had his own little stack of cards. And when I build decks, I lay them out in like the columns, like they have in MTG Arena, as like part of the when you do your mana curve.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was laying my cards out to build my deck, and I looked over and I saw Phoenix literally making a column of cards as well too. He was not. Aww. He didn't know. I mean, he obviously didn't know what he was just making columns of cards like Daddy was doing. But yeah.
That's it. You're learning them good.
He knows what's up.
He knows what's up.
It's part of his
Phoenix,
DNA.
Phoenix, he doesn't play around.
No, he just plays around. So,
And he might lose, but he'll play another round after that.
Exactly.
he'll just play, keep going into it. They're just 15-minute games. It's all good.
So
One of the things I learned that was fun too, we're doing this as well too, especially with all of our other friends who have kids. One of the techniques we've learned, because people do ask me all the time, how do you, play D&D with when your kids are running around? So beyond the fact that like there are ways to entertain them when they are either with like someone who is up at the table playing with them sometimes, or if they have puzzles or things laid out. If you want your kids to get involved in the game, someone gave me some really great advice one time that you can have your kid give you a one-time buff as like a familiar, like especially if your player character is like
a spellcaster or something like that.
Spellcaster, like either a wizard for their familiar or like a druid with their animal companion. It's like you can have the kid represent that and give them a buff if they do a little, like some kind of act or like a verbal phrase or something, like whether they have to do a little dance or they have to say something. Then if they know the repercussions of like Phoenix, if you go awesome and raise your hand up in the air, like you're gonna help daddy in the game. And then let them do that, and then have that be part of the experience at the table, versus just like, no, kid, go watch TV.
Yeah.
So.
Or you could just tell him he can't play D&D.
He's got a point there.
I mean, come
You
on.
need to stop talking.
Caleb, I think you and I are the only ones who are talking sense here.
Go get your
I've learned
iPad,
so much.
kid. This game's for adults.
Seriously.
No kids allowed.
No kids at this table.
No. Oh, God.
Well, that's actually not true, Caleb, because you said you have played with your daughters. Is that right?
That is true. Yes.
What kind of games do you play with them?
Well, I played No Thank You Evil by Monty Cook,
Mm-hmm.
and they really, really enjoyed it. They loved it, in fact. It was really interesting seeing them sort of figure out how to use the mechanics. It was just, it just blew me away, because they were completely. I thought that they're mirror opposites. One is very sort of reserved, the other one is very aggressive and assertive. And so I imagined that one would be kind of combat based, the other one would be more diplomatic, and the two of them just immediately fell into step with each other.
Oh.
They immediately became the world's best team. It was just astonishing. I did not expect it.
That's cool.
And but they did not go for any of the kills, the easy kills that I think for them. No, it's not that kind of game. You can easily approach nearly any problem the way you want to. But it's like when they're confronted with a bad guy, they immediately try to figure out what they want and how to fix their problem.
What really, kinds of things were they doing? Like, what were their tactics?
They were both princesses, and they were both. One was sort of like a spy, and the other one was sort of like a tech nerd. But they were both princesses, of course.
Okay, I like that.
And they were almost entire. But when they were confronted with a problem that they couldn't talk or use diplomacy or something like that, they would immediately resort to like rogue tactics and just sort of like sneak around it.
Oh.
And that's it was they would not become physical for any money. It was really, really interesting. But it just wasn't an option of them. They didn't want to see anybody get hurt. But even a pretend guy, even like a sawtoothed witch or something like that, it was just something completely that I did not expect. And they worked perfectly in tandem. It was nuts.
Do they get along in real life that well?
They do. They're siblings. They bicker, but they do get along really, really well. And in this game, they did exactly the same sort of thing that they do when they're like in a public setting. They immediately just start reading each other's signals and work like two different halves of a team. It was amazing.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I did not expect it. That was like the best thing for me. It's like I was the DM, so to speak, and I was telling the story, and I was completely blown away. I did not expect it.
You're like, I want to be the evil guy who kills you, but oh no.
Well, I had expected them to sort of like team up on me or something like that, or for one to bicker, or for
right.
one of them to get impatient, but it never happened. And
you expected more resistance, but it actually flew really well. And you which is nice because you came in with like really low expectations, and the kids punched you in the face with how awesome they are.
Low expectations as a DM. No, but seriously, as a storyteller, or as a DM, when you can just sort of sit back and let everybody and just listen to them become these spellbinding elements. It's just, you're blown away, especially if they've never done it before and you don't really expect it.
And when they're 7.
But exactly, one of them's 7 and they just dove right in. I mean, they could easily have gone, all day. They could have easily done, they've done it several times since then, but the mechanics, they were a breeze, so it's just, I could easily see them using Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing games as a whole for any number of different, creative outlets in their little lives.
They're gonna get into middle school, dude, and high school, and they're just gonna blow everybody away.
They're gonna be cosplaying, and I'm gonna be sad. But
wait, why are you gonna be sad?
Just because that means that's where all their spending money is going to be going into
and they're going to want to go. I mean, the conventions will actually probably be fun, but they're going to want to go to conventions and lose Dad. It's just going to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, God, Dad, you're cramping my stuff. Can you take pictures of me?
Yeah, go back to your art booth and sell your prints.
Go sign over there. God.
Yeah, isn't like Artist Alley? Aren't they missing somebody over there?
Well, I mean, as you said at the beginning of this, like you've made 2 amazing nerds. And I think that's fantastic.
So have you, sir.
Exactly. We're doing it.
Apparently, I'm not.
No, but because you're saying negative things and hoping that they're hoping you're teaching them to ignore you.
I'm not. You're taking it too seriously. Come on.
No, it's all done with a smile on your face.
It's all good,
negative
reinforcement.
We're
so ahead of the game.
We can have our sass gang, like on the streets. They can just be the sass gang coming down the street that have all the
sharks
snapping their little fingers.
The sharks in the chest.
He's very good at snapping his fingers. You know why? Because I told him not to.
You're like, it works every time.
Don't you snap your fingers?
60% of the
Do
time,
not be good
it
at
works
snapping your fingers.
every time.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. You both of you have made 2 amazing books, and in addition to all of the children's that we have had a hand in creating. I mean, I think I've been talking this up to a lot of whole books. I actually read one of them on D&D News last week, and everybody in chat was very excited. I might read the other one tomorrow and get people excited about, because it's coming out tomorrow. November 13th.
So, and it's right now on Amazon. It's the #1 new release for children's books.
What?
Yeah,
so for very young children's books.
For very young children's books. But
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Point is that you should be excited about it. You should be, pre-ordering it for all of your. I don't think it could come out really at a better time right now, because if this was coming out, I would be ordering so many for like every person I know who has a kid.
But also for those future, it's a great baby shower gift.
It's the best baby shower.
Oh yeah.
So
or
I'm
just a shower gift.
Or just a shower.
Here, I know you're taking a shower right now. Have this.
Have this gift. Have this book. Have this wet piece of pulpy paper while you take a shower.
Would not recommend.
No.
But it could be in Bed Bath and Beyond, though. You can put it in there.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was there too. I was amazed to see how many different places just are have it in the store right now, and I'm excited to kind of see what's done with it. Whether it's going to be is it going to go next to where the handbooks are, where the other D&D handbooks are they going to go in the children's section? Like where are the people who operate these bookstores? Where are they going to choose to place it? That's what I'm most excited to see.
Maybe in
It
both
is going to be.
places.
It's a challenge. It really is a challenge. You're like, who are you going to market this to?
Yeah, where's it going? Is it going to
say-
go next to Llama Llama, or is it going to go next to Guilds of Ravnica? So
Both.
It has
Both.
a home in
Why
both
not both?
places.
And next to the baby shower books.
And next to
Next to the baby shower book.
probably it'll go in the staff recommended section.
Right.
Because let's be honest. I mean,
Now,
No, well, I mean, did you ever read the quotes on the back, Greg and Shelley,
They're good quotes.
that we collected over the years from it?
Oh,
My
I
favorite one
I
is
think I did.
Some guy on Reddit.
some guy on
Yes.
Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah. when we first put this up, it was like I was like, you can't pick a better. I think I even replied to him on Reddit. I'm like, can I use this in the book? Like, can
I'm
I
not
get
going
your
to use your
permission on
name,
Reddit?
but
So, you know, use your username. But like, yeah, I really like this is probably the best quote I've ever heard ever. My kid does not need more books, but he needs this one. So
yep.
I
You know
think-
what I love too is like thinking like this will be the very first exposure to D&D for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
That's
point.
it. There's their intro.
that's true. I
It's
didn't even
going
think
to,
about that.
to trigger a lot of imaginations.
It gives me a little bit of nervous palpitations.
Yeah,
I just hope
no.
I
Don't
do-
screw it up,
I hope
guys.
we've done a good enough job representing what D&D, means to us.
Yeah, it's done. It's kind of it's out there in the world.
Well, I think you've done a fantastic job. I'm
Thank you.
super proud of you guys. Are both trepidatious, but there's no reason to be.
No.
Because you both rolled 20s on it.
Yep.
Yay,
Aw.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
It's so nice to hear.
Well,
For real.
well, we'll get some. I think Caleb's doing a reading down in San Diego. If anyone's going to be down in San Diego, he's going to be doing a signing.
That is
Oh,
correct.
cool.
Game
Yeah.
on.
Where is that happening?
It's going to be on the December 9th at Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore.
Oh, that's such a good store.
Yeah,
It is.
they're going to be Art and Arcana will be there as well too, doing a signing. So
Oh,
we'll be having
sweet.
them both at the same time.
That's perfect. You get the
Nice.
adults, you get the people who've been, fans from the 70s buying up that book and getting this for every single person on their baby shower list. It needs to get out there.
All the nieces, all the nephews.
Everybody's
like,
getting a
Yeah,
copy.
just making it
Just go
rain.
guys.
books.
You can
These
for,
very
for
sharp
one-
edges, so I don't think throwing
Yeah,
them, but
don't-
just throw them
Don't
at
make
people.
it rain.
Ninja
Not
stars,
with a
Ninja
hardcover
stars.
book.
Hey, for $15 a pop, you could get like 3 of these things.
Yeah.
Or actually probably like 5 for Art and Arcana
And
for the deluxe edition.
They're hard board books, but you could fold them in half and put them in stockings. They're stocking stuffers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put it
Yeah.
next to the stocking.
Just put it
my
next
God,
to the
we
stocking.
Yeah.
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 I love it.
Yeah.
You guys have
Yeah.
done great work. I'm really excited about the multiplication tables of D&D, the sequel that will be coming out. Long
Also,
division of
Long
D&D.
division of D&D.
Well, originally it was the 123's of D&D, number, colors, shapes, and more. But we decided there's so much colors and shapes that we could do that later.
We can do that. Oh yeah, the
Oh.
isometrics. What's a cone?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, you know what? Cylinders. Cylinder. This
Cylinders.
Is a
Teach
or
them
cube, gelatinous cube.
the spell, the whole spell effect areas.
actually
Living the
important.
perspective of D&D.
It's just a fireball, and it's like sphere.
Yeah.
Death.
Splash damage.
Splash damage.
Don't get
Let's
caught
talk
in
about
this.
let's talk about rainbows such as prismatic shards,
Oh,
prismatic waves.
There's so much to mine. You guys are already spitballing. You heard it here first, guys. This is the opening meeting, kickoff meeting for all these books to come. So
Yeah.
there's a lot more there. I love it, and I think everyone should buy them and give them to everyone.
I'll just have fun. Like if you have kids and you're interested in D&D and you
Or
want
if you are a
unique
kid.
list,
Yep.
or if you are a child and you're watching Dragon Talk right now, one, go to bed if it's the East Coast because it's 9:00.
Even if you're 35.
It's
Right.
just
If you're a
have fun.
35-year-old kid.
And you should still go
Enjoy
to
it.
bed because it's 9 o'clock.
You should.
It's 9
pretty
o'clock
much.
over in the East Coast, but as one wise man once said, "Buy my book, buy my book."
Sam Sykes.
Sorry, it's an old,
Just one wise man, though.
it's a
Just
terrible-
one wise
terrible-
man, not the three of them.
That was a terrible joke.
It
Thank
is
you
it is
so much for
awesome.
having me.
I think you've done a fantastic job of getting it out there for folks to get into. So thank you for the thrice time, and we shall thank you again for a quadruple time all the times. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
You
having
guys
us.
have been such gracious hosts. Thanks very much.
Well,
We'll
it's
talk to
been
you
a
guys,
pleasure. Wait, where?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Where will people be able to find more about both of you on the social media?
Ivan, you go first.
I am on all the social medias as Hydra_Lord. I do the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the Twitters. I have a bunch of shows that are doing right now. Most of it's I have a show on Legendary Digital on ProjectAlpha.com called We're Live Frontier, which is a zombie survival RPG show. It is not for children because it is very, very survival horror. And I have a bunch of other horror shows on Project Alpha, such as Sagas of Sundry and Dread. and all of this other fun stuff. But you know, you can also watch the Stream of Many Eyes, in which I did the off the table sessions on our amazing set, in which we built out Waterdeep, and you know, you can check out our children's books together. And I don't even know what to say. There's so much. My life is basically playing board games and role-playing games. Oh, I have a publishing company. That's right, called Hunter's Books. We have another game out called Kids on Bikes right now.
Oh my God.
yeah,
I want to try
Kids
that.
on Bikes. I love that
Kids
name.
on Bikes, Strange Adventures in Small Towns. And you could check that. That was by Jonathan Gilmour and Doug Levodansky. It's what's super fun. And the little dice on it, they look like the hodgepodge original dice that you got in the first box set, because they look like the ones that you color in with a crown. They're just super nostalgia-y. So have fun.
Oh, I love that. Awesome. I want to try that out, because there's a little show out there, fantasy-wise, that might be inspiring there.
Well, you know, you said it, not me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well,
I'll
come up and we will play Kids on Bikes. I will run a game for you, Greg and Shelley.
Okay.
I will make Shelley the popular kid at school.
Finally.
One time.
It's fantasy.
And Greg, we can just shame you until you're in the ground for
Oh.
the amount of time that you took with this. And
Not
honestly,
fantasy for Greg.
No, I'm usually
Reality.
experiencing shame is my natural state. So thank you.
well,
Reality,
Because you
Greg.
don't wipe your butt. Brought it
because my
back.
mom said I didn't have to over and over again.
Oh,
it's
now
all
I
it's all
get
out of
it.
love.
Caleb.
I do miss seeing you guys, so it'll be good. But
Save us, Caleb. Where can people find you? And
I can be found on Instagram and Twitter at Caleb is Drawing. I also am on the Facebooks as well, just Caleb Cleveland. Like I said before, I teach at Laguna College of Art and Design. It's a really, really great school in Southern California.
awesome. And I will be talking to Bart Carroll about getting on Dungeons and Doodles. I think that's going to be a
That
lot
would
of
be
fun.
fun.
That's my goal. That's one of the reasons why I made this book, is so that I could just get onto
Kind of.
Twitch and draw ridiculous monsters with a bunch of other artists. That would be really, really
his
fun.
specialty is flumps.
Oh, that was Bart's familiar in his Extra Life game.
Get me on the show. We will flump it up.
Flumfanutter was his name.
Did you hear Lauren Urban's flump voice? That's what it sounds like.
Is he just constantly
It's-
getting high?
Breathing in and talking while breathing in is how she does the flump voice. And I was like, that's genius.
Nice.
'Cause it just feels so weird and alien. And yeah.
Flump it up.
Flump it up.
Oh, we
Flump
love
it up.
flumps.
Have a good night, you guys. Thanks for being on Dragon Talk.
It was our pleasure. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Thanks, you
guys. Thank you
guys.
so much.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's awesome. I love everything that those two gentlemen are putting together for these books.
It's beautiful.
It's good stuff.
They're so good.
Yeah.
I love them.
All
I
right.
love them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? We're going to read them again tonight. We read them last night, but we'll read them again
It's
tonight.
keep them in the rotation. Just keep them going.
Yeah.
I dig it.
It's kind of up to me.
Let's do our full-on outro right now while we got it going. Why
Look
not?
at our big faces.
I know we have really big faces and cool
We got
faces.
a new setup here, which is why we can actually see what you people see.
I
And
know.
It's not
I'm looking
pretty.
at the camera now.
Should fix my bangs.
You should fix your
I'm
bangs.
growing them out. I'm sorry. You're all going to have to
I
go
mean,
through this journey with me.
According to you, I have to be like, don't fix your bangs ever, Shelley.
Craig Tito, parenting expert.
I know nothing about parenting. I literally don't wipe my butt, so I don't know what I have to impart to anything or anybody.
Is that why you're always squirming in your chair?
Always. Yes, it's true. Yeah, exactly.
Ew.
It's gross.
I hope you do your own laundry. Well, I just. Oh, I
You just
really
threw up a
made
little bit in your mouth.
myself sick.
I oftentimes just throw up on my clothes and don't clean it. Is that weird also?
No, that is not weird.
All right.
Bile is an excellent
A cleaner.
cleaner.
Cleaning agent.
It's like what's in OxyClean.
Is it actually bile? I believed it for like 3 seconds. I was like, what? Is that true? Is that the Clorox? Is that what Clorox is made of?
Clorox is really bile? Yes. Don't you know anything?
Now I do.
No, you do.
Now I do.
The
I
more
have you
you
to
know.
tell
Oh,
me.
no.
They're still judging us. We can't say anything nice about them, even though they are amazing and
are
did so
amazing.
great work. I'm really excited about these books to get into the hands of everyone.
Get 'em.
November 13th, they will be available to all
And to all a good night.
And to all a good night, my prince. We have a lot of other stuff coming out that we haven't. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but you have a lot of things in your world that people were excited about.
Yep, they're all out now.
They're all out now. We don't have to talk about them anymore.
Dungeon Mayhem's not out yet.
November 16th, Dungeon Mayhem will be.
Is that Friday?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's basically out now.
It's basically out now for how many copies I feel like I left around GameholeCon.
You duffed a lot of copies. People were digging it, right?
So much. You know, it was so much fun to see. There were strangers coming together at the table, and then they would learn how to play this game. And it was like, my whole part there was like, oh, okay, here's my 1.5 minute introduction to this game. And then they would just start playing it.
And they end, right? It's so quick.
And then, like, it was blocked off for an hour. So I thought, well, people probably aren't going to stick around for an hour because the game literally takes like 5 minutes. Oh, no. The whole hour, they just kept playing game after game after game, and they wanted to play all the different characters.
Nice.
And then they would, like, go off together and play more, and it was so much fun.
That's what that game feels like it's all about, was to have that kind of viral nature because it takes, like, 10 minutes to play a game.
Yeah.
And you want to play again.
And, I always had it with me in my bag. And so if somebody was like, oh, I didn't get to go to your session, I'm like, oh, I can teach you right here, right now. And then we would just throw down right there.
And you're going to get Jesus Jones to be like, right here, right now.
Totally spent my whole marketing budget on that.
Even though that was about the fall of the Berlin Wall.
The name of that band?
I had a single.
Oh, I'm sure I did too.
I bought the single for Jesus Jones.
Was it like $1.99?
Yeah. I had that and not a good song after that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a good song.
Well, I think that was it for them, wasn't it?
I think that was their one-hit wonder. Yeah, exactly. They might have been at like a Lollapalooza or something like that.
Do you remember Glass Tiger?
Oh, gosh. No.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I do.
Do you know who did the backup vocals on that?
Shelley Masanoble?
Nah.
No.
Even better.
Adele?
Adele. She was like one. Brian Adams.
Oh, really?
Little trivia for you all.
The Canadian Brian Adams?
Well, Glass Tiger was also Canadian. So they were helping. Brian was helping them out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Listen to it again. You'll hear him.
Now I will.
Yeah.
You can actually be like, oh, I hear that voice.
You're going to be like, oh my God, it's Brian Adams. 35 years later.
I like it better that you were the actual, you're like, I did backup vocals for that.
Me
and
Adele.
Yeah, you and Adele. I like that story better.
It's pretty good.
It's super sweet.
How did we get there?
I'm not sure. Okay. I think I sang right here, right now, and then it went right into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dungeon Man was awesome. Betrayal Legacy also was so awesome.
Nailed it.
It's so exciting. It's getting such
it.
good reviews. Every time I turn around, it's like another person is like, this is the best game ever. Oh my God, this board game is so filled with awesome. And
I've been waiting to jump into it.
I know.
Because I want to find a group that is going to be playing it for all the times. When I wanted
to play, you have a D&D game. So now I'm perplexed on when we can do it.
Yeah. We can find time. We got to make time.
We can find time.
We can find time. Cool beans.
And Access and Aliens and Zombies is also out there, and people are loving it. I feel like we nailed it.
Everything's coming up Avalon Hill.
I think it is.
And D&D.
I know.
It's really, yeah. Well, the games, we're working with really good designers.
I know.
The we're not doing all the graphic design, but the amount of graphic design help that the D&D team does.
We totally are doing it all.
I'm not even with these books.
Oh, on these books. I thought you were talking about the Avalon Hill stuff.
Yeah, but I guess, right. It's all in-house stuff. So the visuals look really great. They pop, and it's all thematically perfect. So there's a reason why. We've been putting together good stuff.
We are.
Yeah.
This fine array of products right here.
That right here in front of us. We haven't even have it. We've got to bring some Avalon Hill stuff to put in here now, too. I
thought about it. I did.
Next time.
Okay.
Next time. When we talk to Rob, because we're going to be talking to Rob in a few weeks.
I know.
And have him here on this podcast.
I tried not to talk to him at all at Game Hall.
You were saving it up?
Yeah, I can't talk to you because we're going to talk on Dragon Talk. And then he kept saying these really cool, inspiring things.
And then you were writing them down.
I got to remember to
so
ask him about that on Dragon Talk.
You can totally do that. That's
I'm
awesome.
going to.
Super cool. All right. Well, where can people find out about what's happening with Avalon Hill from you?
You could follow Avalon Hill on the Twitters at Avalon Hill 2, as in the number 2, or on Facebook, Avalon Hill Games, or you can follow me at Shelly Moo on Twitter.
Sweet. You can follow all of the fun things going on with Dungeons & Dragons at Wizards_DND on Twitter, /DND on Twitch.
Yep.
There's also some Instagrams and some Facebooks and all those places you can find them. Look for Dungeons and Dragons there. And of course, DungeonsandDragons.com and Dragon Plus, the app you can get
one-stop shop
on your phones, giving bi-monthly issues of a whole bunch of amazing content being delivered directly to you, including, maps and adventure hooks and all this great stuff. So delve in there, and all that content is also available at dragonmag.com.
Get it.
Peace out. I'm at
Peace
Greg
out.
Tito. Follow me there.
Do it.
Where are you?
At Shelly Moo.
At Shelly Moo.
Yes.
Peace out. Oh my gosh, do you see that pile of rocks over there?
No.
What?
What pile of rocks?
Ah!
Ow! Ow.
The rocks fell on Shelly. She's dead. And farted. So let us sign off from here on the Twitch. Thank you guys so much for watching all of our interviews today, as well as
That was a fun day.
talking with some Ari Levitch on the lore you should know. Great stuff all around. We are not going to be back next week for Dragon Talk. I am taking that week off.
Well,
and
no,
Shelley,
I might too.
you might too. Oh, see, that's a good idea. I think you should. We'll be back on the 26th of November,
With
though.
Rob.
We'll be speaking to Rob Daviau,
Yes.
the lead singer. Lead singer of
Glass
Betrayal
Tiger.
Legacy and Glass Tiger. Betrayal Legacy, the band. Love it. The lead designer of their game.
Yep.
And we're also talking to someone else on the 26th, I believe.
I think so too.
But I don't got that in front of me right now, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But it's going to be great stuff. Another great two-parter episode there. So thank you for all of us who have watched, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Have a great weekend and a great Thanksgiving holiday if
Do it.
you are going to celebrate.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
You're awesome.
We love you. Air hugs. Air hugs.